and I have to ask you, do you believe you are Skyla's biological father?
Yes, ma'am.
You do?
That's her ex-boyfriend, my daughter's.
Wait a minute now. Miss Cooper, this is your ex-boyfriend?
Yes, Your Honor. That was a mistake, Your Honor.
And that is not the person that was supposed to stay in that apartment. It was someone from California that was advised to me. That's who was going to stay in the apartment.
She wanted me to stay in the apartment after her son passed away.
You came and stayed there when you were pregnant.
Yes, I did come to stay there. And the time when I was staying there and after I moved back to my parents' big house.
Okay, hold on. So her ex is your friend?
Yeah, told me if I...
Now we're getting places.
Well, we were
friends.
We were friends.
So you went over there, got the car, but when you get to her house, your boy's girl was flirting.
No, she didn't flirt till I left. Like 5 minutes later, she sends me a text message.
Oh.
Get ready for some wild stuff. Ms. Autry claims Ms. Martin is tricking her son by saying her daughter Skyla is his kid. She's super sure she has proof that Skyla isn't her granddaughter. The room is buzzing because both sides are ready to rumble. Stick around. The excitement is just starting.
Ms. Autry, you say the defendant is taking advantage of your son by pinning a baby on him, and you have physical proof that her 2-year-old daughter Skyla is not your grandchild.
Oh boy, did that really just happen? Ms. Martin stands her ground, saying Ms. Autry just doesn't like her, and that's why she's denying Skyla is her granddaughter. She's really hoping the DNA test will clear things up. It's getting tense as Ms. Martin looks for a thumbs up from the court. The show's just getting good. Don't go anywhere.
Ms. Martin, you claim that the plaintiff is a monster-in-law and is denying your daughter only because she doesn't like you. You need help and hope to get some once the results are revealed.
Wow, things just got spicy. The judge steps in as Ms. Autry throws some not-so-nice words at Ms. Martin. The judge wants everyone to play nice so they can get to the bottom of this mess. The court's trying to keep things cool, but the heat's still on. Guess what happens next? It's a hoot.
Well, she entrapped my son by marrying him, by giving him things like money, clothes, cars, and she just wanted a man to call on because she ain't no old tramp.
Wait a minute now. Let's use respectful language. I want to understand this. You say she entrapped him, but she's giving him money. She's doing this. She wanted a man of her own.
Yes,
Miss
ma'am.
Autry, really? Why would you say that, Miss Autry?
Because you do, Miss Tramp.
You've got to hear this. Ms. Autry tells a wild tale about trying to crash Ms. Martin's wedding. She found out last minute and dashed over there to put a stop to it, showing just how far she'd go to break things up. This bit is just nuts, and just when you think it can't get any zanier, it does.
Because I got a phone call, so I was getting married down to my house, so I was on my way walking down there to start the marriage, and my friend, that's why I was going out to go start the wedding.
She tried to stop the wedding, Your Honor. She tried to stop the wedding.
Way too close so you can get married to him.
You can't talk that fast, then turn to the side. I can't even read your lips. I felt like I was at an auction or something. I was like, what?
Just when I thought it was all over. Despite Ms. Autry's wedding crash attempt, Ms. Martin says they just moved the party elsewhere and tied the knot anyway. The whole wedding crew just picked up and moved, showing they're not giving up without a fight. And the craziness doesn't stop there. More wild stuff is on the way.
But you all ended up getting married on that day anyway, in another location.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did your whole wedding party follow you? Now I'm curious.
Yes.
Miss Autry trailing behind? Well, I don't get how that worked.
I didn't have no choice, I ain't had no car. If I'd had a car, I went right on behind them. And there wouldn't have been no wedding.
She's crazy, Your Honor.
So you've never cared for Miss Martin?
It ain't so much as I never cared for Miss Martin. It's just that
this part is too funny. Ms. Autry is now talking about toes and eyebrows, claiming these bits don't match up so Skyla can't be her grandkid. The judge is trying to keep a straight face listening to this toe tale. Hold on, because there's more funny business coming up.
she don't have the toes like my son.
Yes,
His
she
toes
does.
cross,
Yes,
his
she
big
does.
toe is here and his toe next
They
to his toe.
overlap.
It crawls over like that. And I have proof, Your Honor, that is not his baby because her toes don't do that.
Yes, they do,
and she
Your
don't have
Honor.
the thick eyebrows that me and my son and my daughter have. So I know
they
that's
haven't
not my
grew
son's
yet.
baby.
I mean, they grew.
All right,
You act
cool.
like she's supposed to come out with full-blown eyebrows.
She do.
No, she does.
He did.
All right.
You won't see this one coming. Ms. Martin drops a bombshell. She once told her hubby Skyla might not be his to hurt him because he had hurt her. This big reveal throws a curveball into the whole paternity puzzle, and everyone in the court is on the edge of their seats. The next part is even more jaw-dropping.
You told him, your husband, that this was not his child?
Yes, Your Honor. I was trying to hurt him. He left me to go be with another woman, and I was trying to hurt him like he hurted me.
Did you sleep with another man?
Yes, Your Honor. Prior to him coming back into my life.
And she was already pregnant.
No,
Is there any chance that man could be Skyla's biological father?
No, Your Honor.
Get a load of this twist. Just when you thought it was all figured out, Mr. Gott steps into the picture, claiming he might be Skyla's dad. This guy used to date Ms. Autry's daughter, which just makes everything more of a soap opera. You'll totally flip when you hear what he has to say.
And I have to ask you, do you believe you are Skyla's biological father?
Yes, ma'am.
You do?
That's her ex-boyfriend, my daughter's.
Wait a minute now. Miss Cooper, this is your ex-boyfriend?
Yes, Your Honor. That was a mistake, Your Honor.
Ms. Martin, you slept with your sister-in-law's boyfriend?
Yes,
Now
Your
who
Honor.
crazy, Your Honor?
That was before, Your Honor.
Are you ready for the grand finale? They finally open the envelope with the DNA results. And guess what?
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Martin.
I'll take that for 200, Your Honor. I told you.
And you believe this? Ms. Hall is super mad at Mr. Richards because he won't admit he's the dad of their 1-month-old Damani. She and her mom are totally ticked off, saying Mr. Richards is ignoring them and the baby. Just wait for what's coming up next. It's a doozy.
Ms. Hall, you and your mother are furious with the defendant because he denies your 1-month-old son, Damani, and does nothing to support him.
Oh boy, did that just happen? Mr. Richards is tossing back the blame, claiming Ms. Hall just wants him to be the daddy because she likes him too much. He tells her to go find the real dad because it ain't him. Hang tight, the judge has got a zinger coming up.
Mr. Richards, you believe that Ms. Hall is claiming you are the father because she wants to be with you. You say Ms. Hall was thirsty for love and she needs to go find her child's real dad.
Whoa, did he really just say that? When the judge asks if he's done anything for the baby, Mr. Richards is like, nope, nothing. He's sticking to his story that he's not the dad. No way, no how. Buckle up because the courtroom's about to get even spicier.
Mr. Richards, you haven't done anything for the child at all.
No, ma'am.
Admittedly.
No, ma'am.
And that's because you sincerely doubt paternity?
Yes.
What's the nature of this relationship? Tell me, what was going on here? The baby's just 1 month old and everything fell apart already?
You gotta hear this. Ms. Hall spills the beans about their past. They dated before, then he ghosted her. But guess what? He texted her again and bam, back together for a hot minute. Don't wander off. The plot thickens in a flash.
A couple years back, he broke my heart. Then I decided he hit me up to give him another chance.
You all were boyfriend and girlfriend a couple years ago, or you were just dating?
We're dating.
And then somehow he comes back into the picture because if he's potentially the father of
He instant
Damani.
messages hitting her up, talking about, hey, and it went from there.
So you reached back out to her, Mr. Richards?
Yes, ma'am.
You did do that?
Yes.
Hold your socks. It's about to get wild. They dive into this whole thirsty business, with Mr. Richards explaining it means tricking someone with sweet nothings just to get what you want. Stick around because the truth gets even juicier.
So how is she thirsty if he hit her up?
Thirst is going both ways, ma'am.
But he called her thirsty, though.
I would admit I
How's
was
it
being
going both ways
thirsty
when he called her
also.
thirsty?
Okay, hold on. What does
So-
thirst mean? Does thirst mean, what does that mean?
Let me tell you, it's the fact that I knew I wasn't gonna have a long relationship with her, but when you feed somebody the lines that you know they wanna hear, that's thirst to get what you want from them.
Get this, Ms. Hall and Mr. Richards only chilled for a week. They got back together, didn't bother with protection, and whoops, here comes trouble. Don't flip the channel. The judge's reaction is priceless.
It ended bad, but in the same token, I did like him. When he hit me up, it kind of, I think I should give him another chance. Maybe it'll work out this time. But
All right. At what point, so you all start obviously having sex again, using protection all the time or not?
No.
So how long did this relationship go on?
basically a week.
A week?
Oh snap, Ms. Hall didn't even want to tell Mr. Richards about the baby at first because he was such a jerk when they split. She kept it hush-hush until her mom nudged her to spill the beans. Keep your eyes peeled, big reveal is just moments away.
At what point did you find out you were pregnant?
When I was 4 months,
Did you immediately think it was Mr. Richards' child?
I knew, but I didn't want to tell him because how we broke up and how disrespectful he was to me. I didn't tell nobody until me and my mom sat down.
I told her, even if it's gonna be a problem, tell him so he can't never say that he didn't know and that you never told him.
Here it comes, the big kahuna. The DNA results are in, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Richards, you are the father.
Thank you. Thank you.
Buckle up, Buttercup. Angela Monroe kicks off the show with a real soap opera scenario. Her son has passed, and a lady named Shanika claims she's carrying his baby. Angela, battling a serious illness, desperately wants to know if the little one is indeed her grandkid. Stick around, it gets even spicier.
My name is Angela Monroe. My son Herbert died on January 27, 2015. After my son passed, a young lady named Shanika Reed, just the defendant, told me that she was pregnant from my son. The baby was born on May 31st, 2016. I really would like to know if Iyanna Monroe is my granddaughter.
Guess what popped up at the funeral? Angela spills the beans about how she found out about Shaneka's bun in the oven right after her son's funeral. Talk about a shocker. The drama is just warming up, folks.
How and when did you find out about Ms. Reed's pregnancy?
I found out after my son passed, after his funeral. She came by the house and she said, I have something to tell you. And she said, well, I'm pregnant. I really didn't know what to say at first. I was kind of stunned because I wasn't expecting that.
And so, how far along was Ms. Reed when she told you?
I believe it's about 5 months.
And boom! Shaneka drops a bomb about her pregnancy to Angela, who just lost her only child. Shaneka was halfway to her due date by then. Next up, watch the tempers start to flare.
After a week after her son passed and after she laid him to rest, I called her. I wasn't even gonna let her know that I was pregnant with his child, but I was encouraged by family members and friends due to the fact that she has lost her only. So I gave her a call. I told her that I was pregnant by her son, and I told her that I was almost 5 months pregnant.
Things start getting a bit sticky here. Angela chats about how tight she was with her son, who never peeped a word about Shaneka or any baby-making business. Hold on to your popcorn because the tea is about to spill.
So, Ms. Monroe, you were very close to your son.
Yes.
And did he ever tell you the fact that he may have a baby on the way?
Knowing my son, he would come to me about certain things, but when it came to her being pregnant, that wasn't mentioned to me at all. I do have a granddaughter, which he let me know that this person was pregnant, but I had no knowledge of this baby.
Ready for a twist? Shaneka paints a lovey-dovey picture of her and Angela's son planning to shack up together, which Angela quickly calls bogus, insisting the apartment lease was in her name too. Ooh, the plot thickens.
Second week on us hanging together, he already had made it up in his mind that he wanted me to be his life companion. When she was moving out, I was supposed to move into his apartment.
Had you met Ms. Monroe? Did you meet his mother?
Yes, I did meet her.
And the thing about that was our apartment, me and my son's apartment.
You even said this is Ian's apartment.
Yikes, raise your shields. A fiery debate breaks out over who paid what and who lived where, digging up a whole garden of beef between Angela and Shaneka. And guess what? It's not over yet.
Nobody can take my son. God took my son from me. I wasn't gonna leave my son to be anywhere else. And that is not the person that was supposed to stay in that apartment. It was someone from California that was advised to me. That's who was gonna stay in the
She wanted
apartment
me to
with
stay
my
in the
son.
apartment after her son passed
You
away.
came
When she
and
was
stayed
moving,
there when you were
Yes, I
pregnant.
did come to stay there. And the time when I was staying there, and after I moved back to my parents' big house.
Okay, hold on.
Hold your horses. Here comes a doozy. Post-baby birth, Angela's thrilled but skeptical, especially when Shaneka starts pressing for DNA test money. Tension's cranking up, and you won't want to miss what's next.
Called me after the baby was born. Of course I was excited. Well, if you don't have nothing for her, you're gonna pay for the DNA. That costs $400. I said, well, you pay half, I'll pay half.
Why would I pay half on a DNA test that I'm not gonna get the results from? And then you could just say, oh no, I got the results, and they say, you're not the grandmother of this baby. No, I'm not gonna pay. That's what you don't understand.
All right, everyone, lean in. As the DNA results are about to drop, Judge Lake tries to simmer down the feuding duo, hoping to patch things up for the sake of the kiddo involved. The big reveal is on its way, and it's a game changer.
Ms. Reed, if in fact this is Mr. Monroe's biological daughter, would you allow Ms. Monroe a chance to be in her life and be a grandmother and get to know her son's daughter?
I would not stand in the way of that relationship. I would not.
That's what I wanted to hear. Let's focus on the paternity question. Let's focus on Iyanna, because ultimately that's what's important.
Here it comes, the big kahuna.
The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Angela Monroe and Iyanna Monroe is 99.98%.
Things kick off with a bang in the courtroom. Judge Lake gets everyone seated, and Jerome rolls out the case of Bell vs. Clemens. Mr. Bell claims he's shelled out $7,000 on a kiddo he's sure isn't his, and accuses his ex, Ms. Clemens, of pulling the wool over his eyes. He's betting all his chips that the DNA test will clear his name. Strap in, folks. The roller coaster is just leaving the station.
Mr. Bell, you say you've spent approximately $7,000 caring for a child you are positive is not your son, and you know who the father is. You say your ex-girlfriend, Ms. Clemens, duped you into believing her 8-month-old son, Major, is yours, but you are certain today's DNA test will prove you are not the father.
Hold on to your popcorn. Here comes a curveball from Ms. Clemens. She throws Mr. Bell's accusations right back, insisting the DNA test will show he's indeed the daddy of little Major. She talks up all the stuff Mr. Bell has done for them, like moving states and buying loads of baby gear, making it clear he's been super involved. Buckle up. It's about to get even wilder from here.
Ms. Clemens, you say Mr. Bell's accusations are false, and you're certain the test will prove Major is his son. So, Mr. Bell, what have you done for Ms. Clemens and her son?
I've done everything, Your Honor. I moved from California to go be out there with her with the baby, diapers, cars, car notes, strollers, boxes, done everything that I feel like a father should do for his child. So I've done it all.
Mr. Bell drops a bombshell that turns heads in the courtroom. He's all twisted up about the baby's looks, especially his lighter skin, which doesn't match his expectations. He drops a hint about a white guy buzzing around Ms. Clemens, which cranks up his worry meter about who the real dad might be. Crowd can't help but gasp. You won't believe what flies out of the hat next.
So why do you feel she duped you?
Cause the baby looked like this baby. I'm expecting a chocolate baby, and this baby came out white.
Come on now. My son's life is not a game. Every baby comes out light.
You're saying the only reason you believe Miss Clemens duped you is because the child didn't come out the shade you thought it should?
Yeah, and there's a white guy involved. That's why.
Ms. Clemens grabs the mic to clear the air. She explains the white guy is just a client who wanted his hair braided. Nothing fishy there. She stresses there was zero romance, just some hair business. The court buzzes as they chew on this new tidbit about racial expectations and innocent hair appointments. Get ready for a twist that'll make your head spin.
So far as the white guy, we had no physical. He texted me. The day that he seen the message, we actually met the day before that, and he wanted me to do his hair. It was never nothing physical, nothing. So
wait, the white guy wanted you to do his hair?
Yes.
The white guy won't braid.
He has braids in his hair.
Okay, I actually have seen that before. So he wanted to get his hair braided. You're saying you've never heard of such?
Here comes the showstopper, Mr. Bell's photo evidence. Pulls out a photo book to prove his point about the baby's unexpected light skin, even throwing in a baby morph pic to show what he thought the baby would look like. It's his way of saying, something's fishy here, folks. Hang tight, because the next reveal is a doozy.
Okay, Your Honor, this is me. As you can see, I'm dark skinned, not super dark, but I'm a dark skinned, you know what I'm saying, fella? And this is Miss Clemens, and you see she's like a cinnamon brown, you know what I'm saying? So I did a baby morph, what looked like with all, you know, with it being us, and this is what I got. And then this is my son. And this is what come out. This is how he come out, a white boy with an afro.
The moment of truth.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Bell, you are the father.
Thank you. Thank you. It took all of this. It took all of this just to show you. It doesn't make sense. It took all of this.
Guess what? This circus is just getting started. We dive into the case of Kane versus Wright, where the air is thick with drama over who's the daddy of little Ariana. Everyone's on edge, waiting to see how this wild ride of trust issues and bumpy love unfolds. Get ready, the roller coaster is leaving the station.
Ms. Kane, now you say you've had an on-again, off-again relationship with Mr. Wright past 3 years. In addition to questions regarding your daughter's paternity, you say your relationship has suffered from instability and constant mistrust.
Yikes, talk about starting off with a bang. Mr. Wright is throwing shade left and right, doubting he's the father because of Ms. Kane's so-called fibs. He's ready to bolt if the test says he's not the dad. Talk about high stakes. Strap in, it's about to get bumpier.
Mr. Wright, you say that Ms. Kane has repeatedly lied to you, and you have every reason to doubt the paternity of 1-year-old Ariana. Now, you confess that if the results of today's paternity test prove you are not the biological father, you plan to walk out of this courtroom and have nothing to do with Miss Kane again.
Whoa, things just got twisty. Plot thickens with a tangled web of X's and oopsies. Everyone's up in each other's business, blurring the lines between past flings and current Klingons. Keep your eyes peeled. The next turn is a doozy.
So her ex is your friend?
Yeah, told me if I...
Now we're getting places.
Well, we were
okay.
friends. We were friends.
So you went over there, got the car, but when you get to her house, your boy's girl was flirting.
No, she didn't flirt till I left. Like 5 minutes later, she sends me a text message.
Oh.
Here comes the wacky part. The plot jumps to a whole new level of crazy when we find out Ms. Kane might have been a bit too friendly with a tow truck dude right after meeting him. Ooh, the drama. Hang on, there's more wackiness ahead.
So you started dating?
Yes.
And at some point during this time, you got pregnant?
Yes.
Well, before that, I mean, we started dating, then her ex-boyfriend's always sleeping in her bed with her.
What?
No, it wasn't like that. He came over to my house because when he helped me move in, he needed somewhere to stay. My friend was sleeping on the couch. We had
what about the
beds.
floor? Now, you know you're in court, Ms. Kane.
Yes.
Get a load of this mess. The courtroom is buzzing with tales of double dates and sneaky meetups. It's like a soap opera in here, with all the backstabbing and jaw-dropping gossip. You won't believe what's up next.
I don't believe that at all. There was one instance. She went out, she lied to me, told me her friend, they were gonna have a girls' night out. Well, my boy was a door guy at the bar. Come to find out, her ex's friend, and her girl were all on double dates together.
We were on a double date. One of my friends, she asked me to go with her to meet this guy. My ex was there too with his boy.
And you thought it couldn't get messier. It's a free-for-all with exes popping up like whack-a-moles and everyone's story getting knotted like last year's Christmas lights. Brace for impact. The truth bomb is about to explode.
You all see each other, but you also have relationships with your exes.
But see, I admit what I've done.
I had a friendship with my ex.
And now
that was all it ever was between him and I.
You leave the bar at 10:30, go to his house till 6 in the morning.
So, because they wanted to go, and I wanted to go.
Okay, I've heard
it's because
enough
I didn't
of
have
this.
my phone. He
I've heard
stole
enough
my
of this,
phone
because
from me.
regardless,
Things just hit the feels train. The feels are real as Mr. Wright spills the beans about maybe not being the daddy. Emotions are flying high, and the suspense is through the roof. The big reveal is just around the corner.
She told me twice that it might not be mine.
She
and then
told you?
while she was pregnant. And then again, months ago, she told me that she wasn't
because
mine.
she just validated your assertion.
I mean, just a couple months ago, she told me. We got into an argument, and I was like, I'm going down and filing for full custody. I'm going to file for paternity test, and I'm filing for full custody. She was like, you might want to go file because she probably ain't yours anyway.
Oh, that's when she said it.
And now for the grand finale.
It has been determined, Mr. Wright, you are Ariana's father.
Buckle up, folks! The case kicks off with the court clerk rolling out the red carpet for the drama of Coates Hooker vs. Baker. Judge Lake steps up to the plate, and the plaintiffs, Ms. Hooker and her mom, strut in, claiming Ms. Baker's late son is the daddy of Ms. Hooker's kiddo. The circus is just getting started, so keep your eyes peeled.
Ms. Hooker, you are here with your mother because you say the defendant's son, Mr. Abraham, fathered your 10-month-old daughter, Kanaya. You say that Ms. Baker and her family's public denial of this child has caused you pain, and you are here for an apology and to prove her son is the father.
Things are getting juicy now. Ms. Baker and her daughter stand up for her son, Mr. Abraham, who's sadly not with us. They're throwing a curveball by doubting he's the dad because Mr. Abraham wasn't sure himself before he passed away. Get ready. It's about to get even more bonkers.
Ms. Baker, you and your daughter are here today to represent your son, Mr. Abraham, because tragically, he was killed 3 months after the birth of this child. You say that before his death, your son expressed great doubt that he was the father of Ms. Hooker's baby, and you are here to put the lies to rest.
Feel the heat turning up? Ms. Hooker spills the beans on how tough it's been, with Ms. Baker's crew denying her baby's paternity. She talks about feeling left out like the last kid picked in dodgeball, not caring what others think anymore. Brace yourself, because there's more drama ahead.
I'm just sad sometimes. I try to deal with it now. Like, I really don't care no more. That's how I feel. I don't care anymore. I don't care who feel nothing about my baby. I don't care.
It just seemed like everybody else was looking upside my head like I'm an animal. Like, every time I'm sitting down doing something, they looking at me like I'm the outcast of the group. She looked like me, so why is it a problem? That's why I just say I don't care about nothing and none of that.
You'll never guess what's next. Ms. Coates jumps into the fray to defend her daughter, pointing fingers at Ms. Baker and her family for the heartache they've caused. She insists the negative chit-chat has really hurt Ms. Hooker. Just wait till you hear what pops up next.
It's not that she don't care. Her feelings been hurt, so she hold a guard up. It's not Miss Baker who denies Kenaya. It's her family who makes my daughter to be his baby. She fat like them and a whole bunch of stuff. Never from Miss Baker. It's always her family who always have something to say about my grandbaby. My daughter's feelings have been hurt.
Whoa, things take a serious turn here. Judge digs deeper into how Mr. Abraham died. Ms. Baker shares the heart-wrenching story of her son being shot and dying soon after, which really throws a shadow over everything. The emotional meter is about to explode, so don't go anywhere.
May I ask what happened to Keyshawn?
He was shot on a Sunday and he died that Friday.
I'm so very sorry.
A test done because of what the other young man said, and you know.
What did the other young man say?
He told Keyshawn that when he wasn't around, he was supposedly sleeping with Danita.
Now, here's a twist. A relative remembers Keyshawn acting all fatherly before he died, which kind of clashes with his iffy feelings about being the dad when upset. The plot thickens. What comes next is a real jaw-dropper.
Your mind, Keyshawn accepted that he was the father of this child.
Yeah, in my mind.
From the way he behaved at your home.
Mm-hmm. I think he just went off what they're saying in their circle of kids. You know, they talk, they have their...
The boy was telling him
that,
you know, when you were away...
Hang on to your popcorn. This part's a doozy. They dive into why Kania wasn't mentioned in the obituary, stirring up a hornet's nest of feelings and making Ms. Hooker super upset. The tension's building, and you won't believe what's thrown into the mix next.
What did I do to her?
Oh, you can't go. Don't go there, Miss Blanche, because you know the truth is you.
We're all here to talk, honey.
This is
I ain't never said yay or nay. All I say is what my baby said to me. Right. I've talked to her, and she know why we here.
Exactly. And listen.
Yeah, I'm the one who
and
wrote
that's
the
all I'm concerned with. All this other bickering and I don't got time for it.
Grab your snacks. It's showtime. Moment of truth arrives with the DNA results. Drum roll, please.
Baker, Mr. Abraham, and Kenaya Abraham is 0%.
This is why right here.
Miss Baker, are you all right? Do you need to sit down? Do you need to sit down, ma'am?
I do not just say this is my nephew. If you go on my Facebook, his pictures are everywhere. I want to make sure.
You have doubts?
Because if I have doubts and that is my brother, baby, I still want to be there.
No,
my
because
brother's
I don't
not there
want you to
for
be
him.
there. If you have doubts, there's no need for you to be in my child's life.
That's exactly why my brother said he didn't know.
I asked her mother that Jasmine was my firstborn, and that was good enough for me, Your Honor. We went on and had 4 more children after that, and they all belong to me. Now, my point in here, he would have addressed me before he sent her a Facebook or whatever. I know he couldn't be able to find me because we had no contact with each other.
She said her husband does a good job of taking care.
And he do.
No, that's a text that was sent to me.
He has been a much better father than Quincy. So, trust that, because he stepped up. My daughter is going to call him dad. Quincy never been around.
Mrs. Thayer kicks off by hoping to glue what's left of her marriage back together. And boy, does she mean business. She's here to prove that Mr. Thayer is indeed the daddy-o of not one, but 2 munchkins, Cadence and Matthew Jr. Sounds like a Maury episode, doesn't it?
Miss Thayer, you are here today in hopes of saving what is left of your marriage. In doing so, you've summoned your husband, Mr. Thayer, to paternity court to prove that not only did he father your 19-month-old daughter, Cadence, also your 3-year-old son, Matthew Jr.
Mr. Thayer's on stage with trust issues thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. He's ready to hit the divorce button if the kiddos turn out not to be his. Talk about drama.
You say you absolutely do not trust your wife, and you are prepared to get a divorce today when the results reveal that either one or both kids are not yours.
We don't even have sex anymore. What married couple doesn't have sex? We're young. The back and forth, arguing all the time. We argue so much that my son starting to get mad and yell and repeat some of the stuff that we say.
Oh yeah, they did. The Thayers initially signed up for a no-strings-attached fling, and now look where that got them. This backstory is juicier than a season finale cliffhanger.
So this doubt is wreaking havoc in your marriage.
Yeah, in my mind, we're basically separated because we don't sleep in the same room no more. When we're around each other, she's on her phone. We just sit in the same house, and we don't even communicate no more. I don't feel that connection with her. Or the kids, for that matter.
All of this is because of the doubts regard to the paternity of the 2 youngest children.
Ms. Thayer hit Mr. Thayer with the I'm pregnant surprise, and suddenly things got real. This wasn't in their casual fling contract, folks.
At some point, you find out you're pregnant.
Yes, I didn't know what to say because I wasn't planning on having any more kids. I mean, I had 3 girls already, so I was already a single mom.
Were you all using protection?
No.
Fail to plan to fail.
And then I believe she was pregnant before we even got together. Because Matthew was born 3 weeks early. She told me about 3 weeks in that she was pregnant.
The emotional gloves are off, and these two are throwing accusations like confetti at a parade. Mr. Thayer's doubting the entire timeline, and honestly, who can blame him?
But you claim she was with somebody else approximately 3 weeks before.
It hurts. I mean, I love him or I wouldn't have married him. This is the person that I want to spend my life with.
This is my first child too, Your Honor. I was excited because I didn't have no kids, I didn't have a family or anything, and she was gonna give that to me. That I can grow with and I can watch them grow and I can teach them all the things that they're supposed to do in their life that I didn't do in mine.
Cue the suspicion music because Mr. Thayer can't figure out how they made baby Cadence when the bedroom's been colder than a penguin's toenails. Yep, he went there.
Your doubt surrounding Cadence. That is your younger child. You all have 2 children together, potentially.
Yeah, because around the time that she was conceived, we weren't really having sex.
Find out she's pregnant again and immediately doubt.
How are we gonna have a kid if we don't have sex?
So you testified earlier, Ms. Thayer, that you were in a sexless marriage.
Yes. I mean, when he's talking about with Cadence.
The results are in, and oh snap, it's not looking good for Ms. Thayer. The machine tagged her as more deceptive than a fox in a henhouse.
You'd like to tell us before I read these results.
Like I said, the only people that I messed with was during the break that we had that he's talking about where I moved out.
Ms. Thayer, you were asked, in the last 4 years, have you had sexual contact with anyone other than the 2 men you have previously disclosed? You said no. The lie detector determined you were being deceptive.
Drum rolls, please.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Thayer, you are the father.
I told you.
One of them.
I told you.
We still need matching.
You won't believe this. The crowd goes wild when Ms. Moore throws shade, claiming Mr. Butler's wife is playing puppet master with his doubts. Ms. Moore is all fired up, telling everyone that the only reason Mr. Butler is second-guessing fatherhood is because of his wife's sneaky ways, causing quite the stir among the audience. And guess what? The drama's just getting started.
Mr. Butler has doubts he fathered your 1-year-old daughter, and that's because of his manipulating wife. Mr. Butler, you argue you've been told on multiple occasions by the plaintiff herself that you are not her child's father.
Oh, snap. Here comes Mr. Butler with his own side of the story, doubting he's the daddy because Ms. Moore once told him he wasn't. He lays it out, recounting times Ms. Moore straight up denied his paternity, which gets the judge digging deeper. Buckle up, because the roller coaster is about to drop.
One time was because he was harassing me, him and his so-called quote-unquote wife.
So you admit, Ms. Moore, you told him you're not the child's father?
One time.
It's happened because she told me I'm not the dad, she told me I'm not the father.
Why would she tell you that?
The baby don't even look like me.
This just got real. Ms. Moore and Ms. Harrison are now locking horns over whether Mr. Butler did his part as a dad. The clash heats up over some juicy texts about another dude stepping up as dad, showing just how messy this situation is. Keep your eyes peeled, because there's more tea coming your way.
And
That's a text that was sent to me.
He has been a much better father than Quincy.
So,
trust that.
My husband do a good job keeping me and...
Because he stepped up. My daughter is going to call him dad. Quincy never been around.
Hold on to your popcorn, folks. We're diving into the nitty-gritty of the pregnancy timeline, the court questioning when exactly Ms. Moore got pregnant. This critical convo throws some serious doubt on Mr. Butler's paternity claims. The plot thickens, and you'll want to stick around for the next twist.
The baby looked just like Quincy. Now, if she can't do the math, that's her problem. She needs to sit down. December 11th, the doctor told me I was 7.5 weeks.
And the baby was born...
July 26th. I had 2 dates. I had an emergency C-section on July 26th. Was Quincy anywhere to be around? No.
Tell me.
Here's a heart tugger for you. Ms. Moore shares the tough tale of her labor and the emergency C-section. It's a crucial point that highlights just how intense things were during the birth, with Mr. Butler nowhere in sight. The emotions are high, and the next part is sure to tug at your heartstrings even more.
My doctor came in and told me that my baby's heart rate was going down. She was getting less oxygen. I did not see my baby. I went to an emergency C-section. Out of recovery for 45 minutes, I touched my baby and signed my baby off, which is the city that he stays in. I did not tell him where my baby was. I know how mental he is.
Can you feel the drama heating up? Mr. Butler confesses he's torn about his role in his maybe daughter's life amidst the ongoing feud with the 2 leading ladies. His admission sheds light on his personal turmoil and the tangled web of emotions surrounding the paternity mystery. And hold tight, because the truth bomb is just about to be dropped.
That's because it's being tugged on.
I'm playing tug of war. If it's come back to be my daughter, I'm not gonna never see her.
And what is it? You feel like Ms. Moore wanted to be with you, and since that didn't work out, Zamar's her way of getting back at you?
Yes, ma'am.
Here it comes. Big reveal.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Butler, you are her father.
Buckle up, folks! Ms. Sherman kicks things off by accusing Ms. Costello of mooching off her sad aunt both emotionally and financially. She's adamant that Ms. Costello is claiming her late brother fathered Ms. Costello's kiddo, and she's here to stop her aunt from spending a dime on a kid that might not be related. Stick around. It's just getting juicy.
Ms. Sherman, you claim the defendant is taking advantage of your grieving aunt emotionally and financially by claiming your deceased brother is her child's father. You need today's results because you won't allow your aunt to support a child who is not your brother's.
Things are heating up. We dive into the emotional deep end. Ms. Costello spills the beans about how supportive Ms. Thomas, the aunt, has been. Throwing baby showers, buying diapers, the works, all while denying she's taking advantage of anyone. She insists it's all on the up and up. Trust me, you'll want to see what's next.
My aunt threw Marissa a baby shower. She supports this baby financially, as in buying his diapers, his clothes, his food when he is at the house.
That's his family.
We don't know that.
To decide to
we don't
do
know
that. Erica was there with me at the hospital.
We don't know
when I had the baby. She videotaped the entire thing, and when Ryan was born, she saw the crown of his head and said, he is a Sherman.
Hold on to your popcorn. Ms. Costello lays out her love timeline like a soap opera, breakups, makeups, and everything in between. She details the roller coaster relationship with Ryan, adding layers of complication to the paternity drama. It's a hot mess and a half, and there's more chaos to come.
I found out I was pregnant in the middle of March. At that point in time, I contacted Ryan and I told him, hey, I think I'm pregnant. And at that point in time, he was like, well, is this my kid? And I said, well, I started to talk to somebody else. He started to talk to somebody else. And then towards the middle of after me and the other guy had intercourse with each other. Intercourse probably about a week later.
You're not ready for this twist. Ms. Sherman throws down the doubt card hard, fueled by rumors and whispers from her late brother about the baby's paternity. The convo takes a dive into their past flings and flirts, stirring up a paternity pot boiler you can't miss. The tea is piping hot and it's about to spill.
I do not just say, this is my nephew. If you go on my Facebook, his pictures are everywhere. I want to make sure. You see how my aunt is looking? How she is crying?
You have doubts.
Because if I have doubts and that is my brother, baby, I still want to be there.
No,
my
because
brother's
I
not
don't
there
want you to
for
be there.
him.
If you have doubts, there's no need for you to be in my child's life.
That's exactly why my brother said he didn't know.
Guess what? The results are in.
It has been determined by this court. The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Nalencia Sherman and Ryan Costello Sherman is 97.8%. You are related.
Yes! In a twist right off the bat, Ms. Osborne drops a bombshell, accusing her mom of fudging the truth about who her real dad is, insisting it's gotta be Billy Jack Fitzmaurice. They've even called in the big guns with a paternity test to settle this family feud once and for all. Buckle up, because this family roller coaster is just leaving the station.
Ms. Osborne, you have brought your mother to court because you claim she lied to you about the identity of your biological father. You are here to prove Billy Jack Fitzmaurice is your dad. Finally prove the truth. You admit your daughter believed that Mr. Fitzmaurice was her dad, but now stand in court to prove that another man is her biological father.
When Savannah was just 12, out of the blue, her mom hints there might be another dad candidate on the scene. This bomb drops while they're chilling and watching TV, sparking a family drama that sends Savannah dialing her aunt for some serious backup. Grab your popcorn, folks. This soap opera's got more twists coming right up.
We were just sitting watching TV, and all of a sudden she looks at me, she says, you know, there's a possibility that another man could be your father.
And what was your reaction?
At the moment, I didn't know what to do. I kind of just left the room, went and called my aunt.
What happened?
Savannah was very upset because she thought that Billy, my brother, was not her father. I assured her that I believe 100% that Billy is her father.
Donna admits she let Savannah believe Billy was her pops because his family was stable enough to give her a good life. It's a bit of a whoopsie moment that opens a can of worms about family secrets and who's who. Hang tight, because there's more tea about to be spilled.
Yes, I told her that another guy could be her father, but I never told her that Billy Jack was her father.
For 12 years, who were you saying was her biological father?
I didn't say who was her father. And at the time his family took her in, I was young. I knew that they would have a good life for her, and they stepped up and asked to take her, and I knew that they could provide a better life for her at that time.
It's heating up as Donna spills the beans about juggling romances with Billy Jack and another mystery man during the crucial baby-making time. This confession tosses a wrench into the who's the daddy mystery, setting the stage for some major drama. Keep your eyes peeled. Plot's about to thicken.
Because I was back and forth between the two, I was with the other guy a lot more than I was with Billy Jack.
During the window of conception, you were sleeping with both men?
Yes. I just feel in my heart that the other guy is her father.
And I see you can't even look at your mother right now. You're not even turning your head.
Because I just want to know the truth of who my father is.
Savannah lays it all out, confronting her mom about the daddy dilemma that's been gnawing at her since she was 12. It's a full-on emotional unload where secrets spill and tears flow. This is some grade A drama. Guess what? It ain't over yet. There's more heart-to-hearts on the way.
It really feels horrible to not know who my real father is. After growing all these years to believe somebody else was my father, and it couldn't be.
I am sorry, Savannah. You was young. When you was 12, figured that you was old enough to be able to handle it. So I waited to help you because I didn't know if you would, how you would react being so young and me telling you that, if it would confuse you more.
You can almost hear the sad violins as Savannah talks about the pain of dragging her mom to court over this paternity pickle. It's a rough ride, and she's just looking for some honest answers. Don't go anywhere. Auntie's about to step into the spotlight, and she's got a story to tell.
At the end of the day, it must hurt that you had to drag your mother to court today.
Yes, it really does, but I need to know the truth. Brought up on a lie, I have to know.
Because the young woman you believe is your niece.
Yes, Savannah is my niece, and I love her dearly. And we were always told from day one from Donna that Savannah was our I call her our baby, but our niece.
Auntie Brooks jumps in with a backstory that's part soap opera, part reality TV. She reminisces about the shock and awe of Donna joining the family under, let's say, colorful circumstances. The family saga unfolds with more layers than a reality TV show marathon. And yep, there's even more juicy bits to come.
So when he brought Donna home, we were a little shocked because at the time she was working as a stripper. We didn't know what to believe, but we believed my brother Donna both when they said that Billy was her biological father, that she was pregnant with Savannah, and that was our family.
I had told both men that I was pregnant.
And now we're talking about whether these sisters might have different dads, which just adds more spice to this already zesty family gumbo. The chat turns to similarities, suspicions, and family whispers that have everyone guessing. Stay tuned, because the DNA results are about to drop.
So growing up, you just felt like I have a sister, but we have two different fathers.
I also believe Billy could be her father.
Oh, really?
Because at the time that Donna conceived Miss Patton, she was also with my brother, back and forth between my brother and the other man. And I see similarities between Mrs. Patton, this is his other daughter here, Marissa, and Savannah.
And bam!
It has been determined by court. Ms. Brooks and Savannah are related.
Here we go. Miss Hayslip rolls up with a big claim, ready to stir the pot. She's here to prove that Mr. Hayslip, who she insists is her dad, really is her biological father. She's even brought her aunt along because, hey, you gotta have a cheer squad for moral support, right? This is just the opening act, folks. The scene is set for some real family drama.
You are seeking a DNA test to prove that Mr. Hayslip, the defendant, is your biological father. You've believed he is your biological father for many years, yet you say he has never allowed you into his life at the time of your conception, but you claim you were always told that Mr. Hayslip was your father.
And bam, the plot thickens. Mr. Hayslip fires back, determined to prove he's not the father. He's been dishing out child support for 19 years, and now he's had enough. He even wants Miss Hayslip to drop his last name like it's hot, no matter what the test results say. Stick around, because you won't believe what he says happened to him next.
Now, Mr. Hayslip, you say you want to prove that Miss Hayslip is not your biological daughter today. You admit to being very angry because you claim you've been forced to pay child support for the past 19 years for a child you did not father, so that she no longer has yours after today's test results are revealed.
Yeah. Hold the phone. This just got juicy. Imagine minding your own business, driving, and boom, cops pull you over and drop a child support bomb on you. That's Mr. Hayslip's story, and he's sticking to it. He had no clue until a cop slapped cuffs on him and spilled the beans. What's next? Miss Hayslip's going to hit you right in the feels with her side of things.
I had moved from southern Michigan to northern Michigan. I was on my way back, about a 200-mile trip to southern Michigan. I was pulled over for speeding. He said, you have a failure to pay support.
And this was the first time you're driving along routine traffic stop and they say this to you?
Yes, ma'am. In fact, they handcuffed me, and when they did, I was pretty mad, and I struggled a little bit with him.
Grab your tissues! Miss Hayslip shares how she grew up always believing Mr. Hayslip was her dad, because, well, that's what her mom told her. Despite him being more ghost than dad, she hung on to that belief. But wait till you hear about the plot twist at school that cranks up the drama to a whole new level.
That you were told as a child.
As I was growing up, I knew David as my father. And then my mother would tell me that he had nothing to do with me, he never wanted anything to do with me, but was trying to get with her.
As a child, what's your first memory where your mother told you?
It was around 5 she told me that he could be my father, but earlier she always said David Hayslip.
Talk about a schoolyard scoop. Miss Hayslip and a girl named Courtney Hayslip discover they might be sisters. That's one heck of a "how's your father?" moment, literally. They piece together their family puzzle right between math and lunch period. You won't believe the bombshell Miss Hayslip drops next about her stint in foster care.
I met one of the Hayslips in school, which is Courtney, and I told her that my dad was David, and she also said that was her father. And she went home to my Aunt Susie and told her that she met me. My Aunt Susie told the truth.
Up until that point, you all going to the same school and don't know you're
Your Honor.
potentially sisters?
Yes.
For a long time, they rode the same school bus and didn't even know it.
Here comes a heart-wrencher. Miss Hayslip throws down the big question. Why didn't Mr. Hayslip take her in, leading to her long years in foster care? It's a moment that could make onions cry. Just you wait until Mr. Hayslip spills the beans on his legal battles. It's a real doozy.
And then finally, after several months, she finally set it up to where that I could meet Celeste. My first impression of her, I thought she looked a lot like me when I was little. We had a bond that we had connected, and then we started getting close, and then her mother, a long time, and the next thing you know, they put her into foster care.
5.5 years.
I just want to know why, if you knew me back then, why didn't you try to get it taken care of back then?
Strap in for some legal labyrinth tales. Mr. Hayslip dives into how he's been duking it out with the law, trapped by a default paternity rule. He's convinced it's all a big mistake, but the drama is just heating up because his daughter Courtney is about to step into the spotlight with some skepticism of her own.
That's not even part of my family, and I fought, it's Cass County, Michigan. Every month, I have filed paperwork with them. They deny me. Since I didn't answer the letter, the original letter, father, for the blood, back then it was a blood test, then I was deemed the father by default.
Exactly.
And they're saying there's nothing I can do to get a DNA test. I'm just, for 18 years, I'm stuck paying child support no matter what, because I had a fling.
Cue the suspense music. Courtney Hayslip steps up and shares why she's not buying the sister story. Turns out Dad never mentioned anything about having another daughter. If secrets were a sport, Mr. Hayslip might be league champion. But hold on to your popcorn. The DNA results are up next, and it's a real cliffhanger.
Are you doubtful that she is your sister?
A little bit, because I've never been told about her, and I wouldn't think that he would deliberately try to hide something from the family if he knew it was his.
I had 2 other children from another mother. After my marriage had broken up,
Yes.
I had gotten with someone else. I did not hide those children from them or anything. I told them straight up, hey, you got a brother, you got a sister, here they are, let's meet them.
You can't make this stuff up. DNA results are in, and guess what?
In the case of Hayslip versus Hayslip, when it comes to Celeste Hayslip, Mr. Hayslip, you are her father.
So get this, Mr. Thompson strides in, totally convinced he's the dad. He's like, I've never met Ms. Robinson, but today's DNA test will totally show she's mine. Stick around to see how Mr. Fresneda reacts to that bomb.
Mr. Thompson, you've dragged the defendant, Mr. Fresneda, to court to prove that you, not he, fathered Ms. Jasmine Robinson. You've never met Ms. Robinson, but say today you'll prove she's yours.
Plot twist, Mr. Thompson spills the beans about his past fling with Ms. Robinson's mom when Fresneda was out of the picture. He dipped out when Fresneda came back, but now he's all, she looks like me. The next bit will have you rolling.
Me and her mother had relations while Miss Fresneda was away. When Miss Fresneda came back into the picture, I stopped seeing Sonia, and she was pregnant. Child was born. Family members came to me stating, that she looks like me and things of that nature. Sonia said no, she knows who she got pregnant by.
Here's the kicker. Thompson got a call that Robinson's mom passed away, and apparently her last wish was this paternity test. He's here with heart on sleeve, trying to prove he's the dad. Up next, Ms. Robinson drops her side of the story, and it's a doozy.
It's sorry to say, but, I got a phone call saying that she had passed away. And I was like,
Are you speaking of Jasmine's mother, Ms.
Yes,
Robinson's mother?
Yes. It was her wishes to say that it was Mr. Fresneda's baby. They raised her, but I'm here today to prove that I am the father. In my heart, she's my daughter.
So, Ms. Robinson's chilling one day when, boom, Mr. Thompson slides into her DMs back in 2010. Fast forward to 2015, he hits her up again with the big dad reveal. Wait till you see how Mr. Fresneda takes this news.
5 years later, 2015, he had reached out to me again. I have a copy of the Facebook message that he sent me saying like, hi, do you know who I am? And I had said no. And then that's when he had started explaining the situation of how he's supposed to be my dad and not George, and it was a big secret, and like everybody knew but nobody said anything about it.
And here comes Mr. Fresneda, totally aware of the whole dad drama. He's wishing Thompson had just come to him first instead of going through Facebook. Things are about to get real spicy with Aunt Felicia stepping into the mix.
I asked her mother that Jasmine was my firstborn, and that was good enough for me, Your Honor. We went on and had 4 more children after that, and they all belong to me. Now my point in here, he would have addressed me before he sent her a Facebook or whatever. I know he couldn't be able to find me because we had no contact with each other. He lives in one town and I live in another.
Hold on to your popcorn because Aunt Felicia is about to stir the pot. She's seen some family resemblances that she just can't ignore and thinks there might be more to the story. The DNA results are up next, and they're a real game changer.
Did she ever mention to you that Mr. Thompson could potentially be Ms. Robinson's father?
She always denied it. If we brought it to her attention, she always said that Ladden was not Jasmine's father. Because as Jasmine was growing up, as the aunt, started seeing a little difference in the children.
You did?
I did.
The moment of truth. Judge whips out the DNA results, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Thompson. You are her father.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Sorry.
Right.
Sorry.
But when I come back, she was doing her best friend's hair at the house. So I came in from work, told her that I was gonna walk to the store for a second to grab some things.
Did I not call for a DNA test, Miss Beckley?
You did not.
You denied me a DNA test twice. And now you telling me I don't deserve it? I have children, and all of them have my last name.
And so you get to the hospital, beautiful baby is born. Do you sign the birth certificate?
No, they won't let me.
Why?
Because she's still married.
Her friend started to tell me a story. She was like, well, I just want to tell you something. She was like, well, the whole time that you was gone, she was cheating on you.
Her best friend told you
This
that?
is what her best friend told me.
It would be a shame for me not to step up for mines. It would be a shame.
You denied her from the point I told you I was pregnant to now.
Hold on. Did you cheat on your husband 11 times?
No, I did not. But yes, I did cheat on him. We were married when I was 16 years old. I was just a kid.
Guess who's not the daddy? Or so he says. Mr. Dark totally denies being the dad of Ms. Bailey's little guy, saying it's a big nope because of their on and off flings. He calls Ms. Bailey a fibber because of her past oopsies, making it super clear he thinks her baby daddy drama is just wacky. Buckle up, because the roller coaster is just starting.
Mr. Dark, you say the defendant is a promiscuous liar who broke your heart 4 years ago, stepping out on your then relationship. You admit to having a one-night stand with her 2 years ago, but are furious. Ms. Bailey is now claiming you fathered her 11-month-old son, which you say is impossible.
You won't believe this. When Mr. Dark gets back from a work trip, bam, Ms. Bailey's best bud spills the beans that Ms. Bailey was playing sneaky games while he was gone. This shocker flips Mr. Dark's world upside down since he thought they were tight for the past 4 years. Hold on to your socks, because there's more gossip coming up.
But when I come back, she was doing her best friend's hair at the house. So I came in from work, told her that I was gonna walk to the store for a second to grab some things. Her best friend came running out of the door to like, hey, Terrence, wait up for a second, I'm gonna go to the store with you. Her friend started to tell me a story. She was like, well, I just want to tell you something. She was like, well, the whole time that you was gone, she was cheating on you.
Her best friend told you
This
that?
is what her best friend told me.
Wait, what? Even after all that mess, Mr. Dark spills that they kept hanging out and doing the grown-up tango on the down low. They just couldn't cut the cord, showing their ties were all tangled up in feelings and stuff. Stick around, the tea gets even hotter.
We still seen each other occasionally.
Seen each other and had sex, or
Yes,
just
ma'am.
seen each other
Still
and
was
said
having
hello?
unprotected sex sometimes, yes, ma'am.
So you kept having sex until
2016.
It was like early March.
you have sex and you didn't use protection?
No.
ma'am.
When was Jameer born?
November 13th.
You're saying the last time you were really intimate was around in March?
Yes.
Oh, snap! It turns out Ms. Bailey's been in this paternity pickle before with another one of her kiddos. Like, history's totally repeating itself right here with Jameer. This adds a whole layer of to their already spicy story. Don't go anywhere. It's about to get even juicier.
So one of your other children, there was a paternity question surrounding that?
Yes.
And you got it resolved? It was determined
that he wasn't
the biological father? Do you know who your child's biological father is? That
Yes.
child? You do know?
Yes, I do.
During the window of conception, we outlined between February 17th to February 24th.
No, ma'am.
Both of you said no.
You gotta see this to believe it. Despite his doubts, Mr. Dark admits he's been playing part-time dad to Jameer, taking him to family shindigs and everything. It shows he's got a soft spot, even with the mayhem swirling around. The twists just don't stop, folks.
Jameer is 11 months old. What has been your relationship
That's
with
why you don't
the
have
child?
your first child.
Jameer's life, I've been a part of his life. I've gotten him, I've taken him with me, I've kept him. I took him to Alabama with me when I went to my granny's funeral last month. And my whole family
Because
said that
what?
that's not your child.
So when you brought Jameer with you to your family member's funeral, your whole family said to you that's not your child?
The whole family.
The moment of truth arrives.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Dark, you are the father.
Buckle up. Here comes Ms. Beckley, strolling into court to prove Mr. Allen is the dad of 1-year-old Idale. She's really not happy. He's only seen Idale once, and she's here to tell him it's time to step up. Stay tuned, because it's about to get even crazier.
Ms. Beckley, you are in court today to prove Mr. Allen is the biological father of your 1-year-old daughter, Italy Beckley. You say Mr. Allen has only seen his daughter one time since she has been born, and you want him to take responsibility starting today.
Guess what's next? Mr. Allen totally disagrees. He's pretty sure he's not Idale's dad and says this whole mix-up is messing with his relationship with his fiancée. Think that's wild? Just wait until you hear what's coming.
Mr. Allen, you say you are more than certain you are not Italy's biological father and claim Ms. Beckley's accusations are driving a wedge between you and your fiancé.
Get your tissues ready. Ms. Beckley spills her feelings big time. She's super mad and upset because Mr. Allen hasn't been around for their daughter. Tears are flying, and she's begging him to be a better dad. But hold on, the drama's just heating up.
I'm very angry, very frustrated. He's been neglecting her from day one since I got pregnant with her. I'm just sick of it, and I just want him to
to take responsibility of something we both made. It makes me feel angry. She's without a father, you know, and it's terrible that she has to go through that, and I'm raising her on my own. I just feel like you should be a dad to her, because you are her father.
You won't believe this. They start arguing about whether their meetup was for making a baby or just because they were adversarial because they were mad at each other. Things are heating up, and not just because it's summer. Keep watching. There's more fun ahead.
It wasn't baby making sex. It was angry sex.
It's not about baby making sex. Sex is sex.
It was
Whether it's baby making, love making, hate making, sex is sex, and she's still here as a baby. It don't matter what type of sex it was unprotected, period.
She put me out the house. 4 months later, I come back on my daughter's birthday. Then a day or two later, you tell me that you're pregnant. I want a DNA test.
Here comes the bombshell. Ms. Beckley whips out birth certificates to show Mr. Allen signed for their other kids, but not for Ida Lay. Ouch. Ready for the next twist? It's just around the corner.
I have evidence, Your Honor. He signed Germany's and Xavier's birth certificate. Hers is not signed.
So the first one is for Germany, Jacqueline, and Allen. Father's name's there. Second one, Xavier, Dantes, Tyrell, Jerome, Allen. Third one, Italy, Lisa, Alexandria, Beckley. No father listed.
Hold on to your popcorn. Mr. Allen's upset because he wanted a DNA test and didn't get it. Not once, but twice. He's got doubt with a capital D, and he's not keeping quiet about it. Next part, it's a doozy.
I not called for a DNA test, Miss Beckley?
You did not.
You denied me a DNA test twice, and now you telling me I don't deserve it? I have children, and all of them have my last name. I didn't have my biological father in my life. It would be a shame for me not to step up for mine. It would be a shame.
You denied her from the point I told you I was pregnant to now. Hold on.
She denied me the DNA test not once but twice.
Time for the judge to drop some wisdom. She points out all the bickering and chaos between Ms. Beckley and Mr. Allen and how it's affecting the kids. Think this is juicy? Next reveal is even juicier.
Because I'm starting to understand what's going on here. This is a dance y'all do. You know this choreography. Arguing and dysfunction and yelling and back and forth. You all do this well.
Your Honor, I stepped away
And
from
this
her.
little girl is the one suffering because she's a year old with no father.
And here's the big moment. Drum roll, please. The DNA results are in, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Allen, you are the father.
Told you. You too, fiance. Stepmama.
Guess what's cooking in court today? We kick off with the case name Brown Ramirez versus Wayne, announced by the court clerk. Ms. Brown Ramirez jumps in saying she wants to fix up her 10-year relationship with Mr. Wayne because of some baby drama. She's here with big hopes and even bigger problems.
Ms. Brown Ramirez, you are here in court today because you say you're hoping to save your 10-year relationship with the defendant, Mr. Wayne. You state you have 3 children with him, but confess that your 9-month-old daughter may not be his biological child.
Oh boy, things are heating up. Ms. Brown Ramirez drops a bomb. She might have a baby that isn't Mr. Wayne's. Cue the audience gasp. Mr. Wayne isn't having any of it. He's all about leaving if the baby isn't his. The stakes are as high as a circus tent. You won't believe what's up next.
Mr. Wayne, you argue that Ms. Brown Ramirez has lied and deceived you throughout your relationship.
Yes,
you warn, if the results reveal you are not the father, you will walk away and never look back.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, this is where it gets super spicy. Ms. Brown Ramirez admits she's been fibbing about her exes, and Mr. Wayne accuses her of being a professional fibber since day one. They get into a squabble about who's been naughty and nice, and the audience is eating it up, clapping and gasping like they're at a magic show, especially. Grab your popcorn. It's about to get even wilder.
Well, Your Honor, every other day it's a constant battle of whether or not I'm cheating, I'm lying. I'm here because, you know, we have 3 kids, and I'm woman enough to be here and say that there's a possibility that my 9-month-old daughter is not Mr. Wayne's.
When I asked her about how many people she'd been
But
with
10
before
years,
me,
Your Honor, he knew this fact, and, you know, I didn't force him to stay in this relationship. He decided to stay.
Ready for a curveball? The spotlight turns to Mr. Wayne, doubting he's the daddy of 2 kids, starting with the baby. Ms. Brown Ramirez shares the deets about their rocky times and a mystery man, which makes Mr. Wayne even more jittery about being the pop. The past comes back to haunt them like a ghost in a closet. Just when you thought it couldn't get more bonkers, here it comes.
Not even 5 minutes after I had her, he took her out of my arms and just, you know, they had a bond. You know what I mean? It was like they're inseparable at this point in time. For him to constantly say that, oh, if she not mine, you chose to stay.
that's
Nobody
when I started
forced
to have
you. I
more
told you
doubts
plenty
of
of
her
times
being
you
mine.
could go. And
because
why?
The baby don't look like me. I'm real dark. She real light. I also have evidence
mother
right
is
here
light.
to prove.
Here comes the big moment. No fooling.
It has been determined by this court that you are her father.
Thank you. That's all I wanted.
All right, folks, buckle up for some drama. Ms. Davis spills the beans about hooking back up with her ex-hubby, Mr. Simpson, after a whopping 15 years apart. She's here today to drop the bomb that yes, indeed, he's the daddy of 2-year-old Elizabeth. Stick around, because Mr. Simpson's about to throw a curveball.
Ms. Davis, you say that after a rocky marriage and nearly 15 years separation, you reconnected with your ex-husband 3 years ago. You say Mr. Simpson is now denying he is your 2-year-old daughter Elizabeth's father, and you intend to prove paternity today.
Hold on to your popcorn. Mr. Simpson fires back, claiming Ms. Davis was a serial cheater during their marriage, and he's betting his last dollar that he's not the father of Elizabeth. He's sure the DNA test they took will prove he's in the clear. Wait till you hear Ms. Davis's side of the story. It's a doozy.
Mr. Simpson, you say that your ex-wife cheated on you multiple times and is incapable of being faithful. You say there is no way you are her daughter's father, and today's DNA test will prove your case.
No way! Did he just say 11 times? Yup, Mr. Simpson drops a bombshell claiming Ms. Davis cheated on him not 1, not 2, but 11 times in the past. The audience can't believe their ears. Ms. Davis is about to grab the mic, and you'll want to hear this.
Your Honor, for a fact, I've known 11 times that she's cheated in her previous relationships.
11 times?
Yes, ma'am. And that's just
what
was
happened?
counted. We were married 15 years ago. She tells me after I get off work to stay in the house. She got somebody that come and visit her. Okay, I stay in the house. Somebody pulls in my driveway.
Yikes. Talk about a tough spot. Ms. Davis admits she wasn't exactly the faithful type back in the day, but insists she's been upfront about all her past flings. She hopes to clear the air today. Don't go anywhere. Mr. Simpson's about to recount a juicy story from their past.
Did you cheat on your husband 11 times?
No, I did not. But yes, I did cheat on him. We were married when I was 16 years old. I was just a kid. But every time I cheated, I was honest with him. So I never lied to him.
Oh, so you cheated and told the truth.
And told the truth about it, yes.
Get ready for a wild ride. Mr. Simpson recalls a not-so-sweet memory of finding Ms. Davis making out with someone in their driveway. Yup, right in front of their house. Talk about awkward. What happens next might just make your jaw drop.
Your Honor, I'm at work, and she's home packing up her clothes. As soon as I come in, she's leaving with another man.
What made you take your wife back after she cheated on you 11 times? Did you feel like she had changed?
Yes, she had kids with other guys after we separated.
You felt like motherhood had matured her.
Yes, as it would any woman.
Oh boy, things are getting sticky. Mr. Simpson talks about how tricky it was getting back together, what with all the trust issues and bedroom problems. He's puzzled by Ms. Davis taking loads of pregnancy tests when things weren't exactly operational. You'll crack up at what's coming up next.
But it's true, you did reconnect.
Yes, ma'am.
And you all started to have a sexual relationship again.
The first week we were together, Your Honor, I just came out of a relationship. I have my own kids. I've got custody of all my kids because of all the stress that I was going through. All right, but yeah.
Oh, you said that very respectfully.
The first month we're together, she's taking a pregnancy test every week, once, twice a week.
Guess what? Ms. Davis explains she was just chatting with a friend in the car outside for hours because, well, Mr. Simpson gets a tad too jealous. She's just talking, folks, nothing fishy. But the plot thickens. Keep watching. The next part is hilarious.
Why you gotta be in the car?
Because he's too jealous.
I mean, let's be honest. You cheated 11 times before, or maybe not 11, but you admitted you cheated. Now you're sitting out in front of the house with another man having conversations for 2 to 3 hours. He's gonna think something's going on either way.
Tearjerker alert. They show a cute pic of little Elizabeth, and both parents are getting all misty-eyed. Mr. Simpson loves her to bits, but is still not sure if she's his. The paternity drama is about to hit the roof, so don't touch that dial.
And so you get to the hospital, beautiful baby is born. Do you sign the birth certificate?
No, they won't let me.
Why?
Because she's still married.
You were willing to sign it, but they wouldn't let you because she was technically still legally married to somebody else, and because of that, baby Elizabeth has your last name.
Everyone's on edge as Mr. Simpson wonders aloud if Elizabeth's curly locks mean she might not be his after all. He's got a gut feeling something's off. The courtroom is buzzing as we inch closer to the big reveal. Will he be the dad or not?
She's beautiful. I mean, you see the curly hair and all my family's straight-headed. I've got Cherokee blood. I don't know anybody in my family that,
You feel like her curly hair is something that
yes,
indicates to you that maybe somebody else could be her biological father?
And here comes the moment of truth. Drum roll, please.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Simpson, you are the father.
Mr. Quarles kicks off the court drama by spilling the beans about his money woes and doubts over being 4-year-old Sierra Forrester's dad. He talks about a one-night whoopsie that's now costing him big time, causing all sorts of wallet ache. Just wait, it's about to get even juicier.
Mr. Quarles, both you and your wife have petitioned the court today for a DNA test for 4-year-old Sierra Forrester. You claim that due to a one-night stand, you are now in financial shambles caused by child support for a child you don't believe is yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hold the phone. Mr. Quarles dishes out how he got slapped with child support after a letter missed him and went to his old past. He's all sorts of confused and miffed about being named Daddy by default because he didn't show up in court, which has his paycheck playing hide and seek. Stick around, the plot thickens when Ms. Forrester steps up to the mic.
A letter got sent to the old house that we used to stay at that I had to go to court. I never knew that. It was a month later. The next thing I know, I'm getting put on child support. I just want to know, how do they do that? You know, the mail went to somewhere to the other house, and I ain't signed no birth certificate.
Well, you were named the father by default because you didn't show up to court.
Oh snap. Plot twist. Just when Mr. Quarles thought it was a one-and-done deal, Ms. Forrester throws a curveball, claiming they were more than just one-night buddies. She even passed a lie detector test, proving they hung out more than once. The room's buzzing, and you won't believe what's coming next.
I mean, it wasn't like no relationship or nothing like that.
Were you intimate with her? Did you have sex with her?
Yes, I did.
Did you use protection?
No, I didn't. It was just a one-night stand.
It was not, ma'am. I took a lie detector test.
Wait, you're saying that it was more than one time?
Yes, ma'am.
And you asked the court to administer a lie detector test?
Yes.
Because you say you had sex with him more than once?
Yes, ma'am.
Yikes, grab your popcorn. Ms. Forrester turns up the heat by saying they were more than just casual for a few months, even though Mr. Quarles is stuck on the one-time story. The court's now hearing all the workplace gossip, suggesting Ms. Forrester might have been the go-to gal for rumor. You're not gonna wanna miss what the DNA test reveals.
But let me ask you this, Ms. Forrester. So since you worked together, when you started sleeping with him, you knew they were in a relationship?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to talk about this, on and off morality. I mean, I didn't want to break up their relationship by telling her that this could potentially be his child. But on the other hand, I am sleeping with him knowing that he's with her.
She's a gold digger.
Here it comes, the big moment.
It has been determined by Mr. Quarles. You are the father.
Guess what's popping off? Judge Lake kicks off the Wild Show with the case of Van Metre versus Watkins. Ms. Van Metre is super eager to show that Mr. Watkins is the real dad of her kiddo, Decidre, because she wants his name all official on the birth certificate. Brace yourselves. Things are about to get spicy.
Ms. Van Metre, after a recent medical scare, you realized it is imperative that you prove to the defendant that he is the biological father of your 3-year-old son, Decidre, so you can put his name on the birth certificate. You are hopeful today's results will help save your family.
Whoa, buckle up. Mr. Watkins is throwing some major shade, doubting he's the daddy because Ms. Van Metre wasn't playing fair in love. He's pretty sure the DNA test will show he's not the father, and if that's the case, he's out of there. Next up, the tea gets even hotter.
Mr. Watkins, you say your paternity doubt has destroyed your relationship with the plaintiff, and when the results prove you are not the father, you are gone forever.
Oh snap, here it comes. Ms. Van Metre lets the cat out of the bag about cheating on Mr. Watkins. Despite the messy breakup, Mr. Watkins didn't pack his bags, but stayed to play dad to little Decidre. The why is a total mystery to her. Stick around, the drama's just heating up.
We are not in a relationship. We just live together at the moment. Broke up because of the simple fact that I cheated, and he has just stayed and he's been there throughout everything, throughout the whole birth, throughout my son being 3 now. He's just played his dad the whole time. I don't really know why he stayed. I just know he has stayed.
Get ready for some feels. Mr. Watkins gets real about why he's stuck around. Growing up without a dad himself, he couldn't bear to leave the little ones hanging. His talk about being there for the kids is totally touching. Wait till you see what's up next. It's a doozy.
Number one, I'm not gonna leave a child without a father, because I grew up without a dad. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do what I have to do as a man and still be there.
You've been very good to this child.
Yeah.
Despite your doubt, because it means something to you.
Right. Also, I play father to her other child that doesn't have a father in her life. So I'm taking care of the whole crew.
And I understand that and I respect that.
You won't believe this. Mr. Watkins catches Ms. Van Metre texting some mystery dude and deleting messages. Super sketchy, right? But then bam, he's caught red-handed making whoopee in a car. Oh man. The plot thickens. Keep watching, because it's about to get even crazier.
How did you find out she was cheating?
I saw her on the couch texting, but I could clearly see what she's doing. She's texting and deleting messages. And she's like, oh, I was just talking to my friend. Would you delete the messages? So I I left just to cool down because I don't like sticking around arguing about nothing. When her family picked me up, told me that they saw her outside in the car doing what she was doing with the dude. Pretty much she was having sex in the back of the car.
Hold the phone. This is Juice. Under the heat of Judge Lake's questions, Ms. Van Meter admits to hooking up with the texting dude right outside her house with her family nearby. This bombshell locks in Mr. Watkins' doubts about being the daddy. You gotta see what's next. It's a real jaw-dropper.
Ms. Van Meter, are you in the car with the guy you were texting?
Yeah, but it was because he was leaving and I was telling him bye at first.
So
he came on to me and it just ended up happening. It's not like it was intentional.
So you admit that?
Yes.
So you had sex in front of the house in a car?
Yes.
Oh, grab some tissues. Ms. Van Meter spills her guts, confessing she really wants Mr. Watkins to be the dad and for them to fix their rocky romance. She's all in her feels, hoping the DNA test will mend their fractured fairy tale. The emotional roller coaster is far from over, folks.
So the truth is, you do want your relationship to work.
Yes, I do.
And you do want him to be the father of your child, not just in deed, right?
Yeah.
But in name as well.
At the end of the day, if something happens to me, I want my son to know who his dad is, because I want him to be there for that person and to know that he loves them and all that.
Here comes the moment of truth. Drum roll, please.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Watkins, you are the father.
All right.